I was doing a lot of online building. So I was building my site, focusing a lot on actually launching or relaunching, um, my business in January.
Yeah.
And then I was going through also it was like a real, like, it was like, it was in like a transition. Like I just um, left my full-time job in the construction industry, and then everything seemed to change like literally overnight. So I was kind of in limbo. I wasn't working, but I was launching my business. I had so much time. I
Yeah.
was also going through some, legal, whatever you want to call it, legal case uh, with my separation and my divorce, and then at the time, I was actually I'd signed up to my master training, right, which was um, in Thailand. The first workshop was in Thailand, so I had all this stuff going, like, and then
Shit, that's a
in
lot, man.
February, yeah, like I had heaps of stuff, right, and then it all just kind of like came in. I didn't even try. Just in that time, there's just boom, it just like flooded
Yeah.
me. I didn't feel overwhelmed, but it just, well, it wasn't overwhelming, but it was like everyone like was kind of telling me to take a back seat and just to settle down, but I couldn't kind of stop this tsunami wave, right?
Yeah.
But then in March, obviously COVID-19 hit in March, and that was when my legal case was starting with my divorce, and everyone was saying like, look, you've got to stay in Melbourne, don't go to Thailand for training. You're crazy, right? Like, why? Just go another time. Like, but I'm like, some part of me just knew that I had to go, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, so I decided to go, and there was obviously no one in the plane. It was empty, and um, anyway, met my trainer or mentor, and we just bonded. Like we had this connection. And I think the only reason why I went overseas was because yes, to learn the context of the course, but just to really, meet my trainer who, like, I just was looking forward to meeting for a long, long time. So coming back from Thailand, I actually, I remember you were in Melbourne
Yeah,
at the time.
because we were coming back. Oh yeah, you coming back to Thailand. Sorry, yeah. So I was still in Melbourne. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were still in Melbourne, and you were ready to come back to Thailand,
Yeah.
and we said we'd meet up. But what happened was the 9-day course that I was on in Thailand, it got cut in half because we're just like, what's going on? Everyone's shutting down their borders, and we're in
Yeah.
this like compound villa, and we're wondering, like, we're listening to all this news, and the price of flights are going up and down and up and down, and we're like, oh
Yeah.
my god, like, should we go home? Should we not go home? Should we go home?
Yeah.
Like, we could get stranded here for 2 months, And I'm like, so we all decided to go home, and then we went home, and everyone made it safe, and from there on, I stayed in. I had to self quarantine.
Yeah. That's right. What was it? 14 days you had to spend in a hotel.
Yeah. So luckily for
Fuck.
me, it was 14 days voluntary quarantine. So I didn't have to go to a hotel. I could have done it at home,
Okay.
but because my parents didn't want any risks or taking the risk of getting infected, I stayed in a
Yeah.
hotel. And that,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, like, that was it was really awesome. Like, I the first 2 days, I actually got dressed in the morning and
Yeah.
got dressed and everything ready to go. Right, I'm going to get a coffee, and then I got to the door of the hotel room and I was about to open it, and I'm like, "Holy shit! I can't leave this hotel room."
Yeah.
So I closed it, and that happened 2 mornings. Like, just the
Well,
automatic behavior of like, I'm going to go out.
jeez.
Yeah, but I spent a lot of time in that hotel room. Um, uh, Doing like practicing my rituals, like, because I'd come from that course with new daily rituals, a lot of like Indian Vedic chanting,
Yeah.
and meditation as well, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of like eating, like everything from exercise to eating.
Yeah.
And I remember like there was so many conversations on the internet, and people feeling really uncomfortable and out of place that now they've been locked down in this room. But I kind of
Yeah.
felt like it was really good for me to actually stay in one place, and just, it was almost like the universe was saying, everyone to their rooms, and you're not coming out until you kind of like learn more about yourself.
Yeah.
It was like being sent to the naughty corner, right? But
Yeah.
it was actually like, regardless of what was going on, conspiracy or not, the government doing this and that, like if you look at it from a higher perspective,
Yeah.
because I believe like, 80% of unseen is really what's governing us and driving us.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like, I so saw it as an opportunity for me to really just spend time with myself. And I think those 14 days, the amount of kind of growth and introspection that I had was like years worth of doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
learn, it was all compressed into 14 days, and some
Yeah.
people were
Wow.
struggling and some
Yeah.
people weren't. And
Yeah.
so I came out of that, and my life has actually stayed in the same routine in that 14 days. It's never like, I didn't come out of the isolation of 14 days and be like, right, party, let's go, let's
Yeah.
do this, let's do that. It's the lockdown has actually had a really positive effect on me,
Yeah.
even though I'd love to go out, but it's really like forced me to just continue on that
Nice.
that lifestyle. So even up until today, like I think although restrictions have been lifted, um, I'm actually enjoying the solitude of actually getting to know myself. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. Like, what about
Nice, man.
yourself?
I just want to comment, man, about what you were saying, like earlier there, because you had all these different things going on.
Mm,
Before you left for Thailand, you mentioned you wrapped up working in construction, you were starting your own business.
yep.
Um, you had all the other things in the works. And I remember us hanging out a few times, and just, I remember just asking myself, like, how the fuck is this guy like so level and chilled and just balanced with like all the different things that he's got going on in your life,
Mm,
in his life?
yeah.
And yeah, that was really interesting, man, just to see like your composure during that whole period. And obviously, like it's a continual thing, but I guess I'm just not used to people, having all these things, and you weren't complaining about it or asking for advice
Mm,
or support or whatever. You were just like really set with like, yeah, this is what's happening, this is what I'm doing,
mm,
this is what's important, and
yep.
it's what needs to happen.
Mm,
So that
yeah.
was really cool, man. I could just really see that in you, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was a really cool validation from you at the time, and even now, of like the the work that I put in to like to get to that place, right? Because I was not like that. Like I would be
Yeah.
the hell out.
Yep.
And I think well, I don't think, I know that the one thing, even before like January and March and all that, even like last year, was when I started to form my daily rituals, especially my rituals in the morning and at night, which is only like 15 minutes. The one thing that actually, like you talk about that calmness that I have, right? Naturally, I'm like a reserved kind of very like calm natured guy, right? I'm not like adrenaline hype.
Yeah.
So, to a lot of people, I come across that naturally, but the thing that allowed me to feel really just like almost like not giving a crap about anything, like it's fine, it's going to work out. The one thing that helped me is when I would do those daily rituals every morning, there's one line on this little yellow card that I would have, and I had 5 things that I would be grateful for.
Yeah.
Number one was like I would uh, oh, what was it? I would do like a sage smudge in my ritual space. Then number two would be to give gratitude. So I'd write something with gratitude and put it in a jar. And then 3, 4, and then the last little thing on the card, like a reminder card. So I'd follow these in sequential order every morning, and I go do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then number 5 was to ask for support in, and for me, it's not God. For me, it's just like universe. For me, it's like a higher power, right? So I ask, and like I believe in like that I have guides and all that. So, my team, my guides up there or wherever they are, or even with us, right? I would always just say, thank you. Or it would start off saying, how does it go? I would ask them, I would say, thank you for, I acknowledge that I need help with my goals and desires, right? Please help me in whatever way you can.
Yeah.
And then I would thank them. I would say, thank you for your assistance, right? And that trust and that knowing that, I'm going to do whatever I need to do right here in down here, but up there or whatever, take care of everything else for me, right? The 80% that's unseen.
Yeah.
And I would do that. I'd done that every day for like a year. And when I used to do that, and when I do that, the miracles seriously happen in my life. Like I just ask them to take care of it, and I do everything I can here to do what I need to do. Like, with the court case and all this, I just, and that's really where my calmness and my solidity comes from. There's so many unknowns in my life, but I don't think of the how. I just think of, I know it's going to happen, and I ask them to take care of the how, right?
Yeah.
I know if I try and get too involved in how this is going to happen for me and what I need to do to make that happen, it just goes to shit, right?
Yeah.
It goes to crap, doesn't happen. So I just kind of have that intention of, this is where I want to go. Please help me. I acknowledge that I need help with my goals, my business. I need 50 grand for this. I need money, blah, blah, or whatever. Take care of it. Please, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I trust that everything will happen in divine timing, or like in the right place at the right time in whichever sequence it's meant to happen. So that's a massive, I think if anything, that was the one thing during that time that actually really got me through.
Yeah.
One of the things, but the main thing, Yeah.
That's very cool, man.
So
I guess it sounds like, you do what you can in the here and now, but the things that are out of your control, like you're not worried about trying to control them and get them to line up with your expectations as well. You're sort of trusting that those things that are out of your control will be taken care of the way they're meant to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do, so good for you, man.
It's not, and I mean, it's not like I worked it out overnight. Like, it's taken me ages, and I just decided, all right, look, this is something that I need to really take seriously, because everything else wasn't working. Like, I actually did not try that for a long time. I decided to actually go, you know what? No, I'm smart enough. I can make things happen at my will.
Yeah.
When I want, where I want. But we're not that smart. Like, we think we know what's best for us at the right time, but we don't. We freaking don't. Like, I thought that in the past, but going through the last year and actually just, living and using this one kind of principle, everything changed. Like, as soon as I let that go and just said, take care of the rest, I'm going to do everything I can, I've got the intention, man, like, things just slotted into place. Like in January, I left my job because I've got a business to launch. Awesome. I manifested 50K. Awesome. I'm now in this training course. Awesome. And it didn't happen. I didn't try. It actually just happened,
Yeah.
So,
wow, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that also, what I was saying, I think in the previous talk about like banging your head against the wall, or like trying to push your way through the wall, is like trying to control all those things that are out of your control, like you're fighting an uphill battle, as opposed to like turning to look to your left and then there's a window or a door
Yeah.
that you can just like move through gradually and slowly without having to like constantly battle against this wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice, man.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then another thing as well, like in your isolation, right? So you did 14 days quarantine, and
Yep.
a lot of people, you know, I guess every country is different, but some people have done like a month of quarantine or lockdown, isolation, whatever you want to call it. Some have done like 2 months. And yeah, it's just been interesting because there's no, like you said, it's almost like the universe's way of saying, okay, like everyone to your rooms, like, there's been enough of this external style of living, like
Mm,
go in your rooms and like, look inside now, look inside for this period of time.
mm,
And the interesting thing is that like there's nowhere to hide from this. You can't go to another country. You can't hide out somewhere where there's no lockdown or anything like that. Like I think where I am is pretty good. Like it's really relaxed here, but it's closed now. It all closed off.
it's
Once
all
the
close.
borders
Yeah.
closed, you couldn't go anywhere else or
Mm,
change things. It
yeah.
was going to affect everyone, and
Mm,
it's something that you couldn't hide from.
yeah.
And I really feel like, or from what I've seen and observed, whatever habits or tendencies you have are going to be amplified times 100
Yep.
during your isolation. So
Mm,
if you're like used to being like using social media a lot,
yeah.
you go into isolation, that's going to be amplified by 100.
Mm,
If you've got habits of like or if you have anxiety or whatever it might be, going into isolation, like that's going to be amplified times 100.
yep.
So there's nothing to distract you from your habits and your tendencies. There's no sporting events. You can't go out and exercise, go to the gym. You can't go for a coffee.
Yeah.
All the things that maybe you're used to doing to help you deal with whatever your habits or tendencies or insecurities are, they're all of a sudden taken away.
Mm,
So everything's amplified.
yep.
And I see that happening in a lot of people. And then there's the other side of the spectrum as well, where there's people who are pretty, I guess, conscious and already have been like working on themselves and looking inwards. And then the lockdown for them is like amplifying all of these aspects and giving them a chance to go deeper and delve deeper.
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting, man, like how things are unfolding.
Yeah, man. Like you're so spot on. Like it's the amplification of like getting sent to our rooms, and there's like
Yeah,
no distractions around us apart from us. Like
yeah,
when
exactly.
you're with yourself, it can be a pretty scary experience. If you,
Definitely.
yeah. I
If you're
mean,
not used to it, if you're used to always, having people around or
mm,
um, going out and keeping yourself really busy, which I
mm,
think that's a big thing for people, just staying like so busy
yeah,
is a way to like hide from yourself in a way.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, all that all of a sudden got taken away.
yeah. And even if you wanted to go to another country to hide, you can't even fly there, right? So you really
Yeah, you
got
can't
no
get in there,
choice
and
to
then
even go
when you get
anywhere.
there, you're gonna be quarantined and isolated anyway, probably
That's
even
right.
worse.
That's right. So you're
So
basically your naughty rooms anywhere in the world.
yeah, at least like the good thing about Australia is that people have relatively big houses and big backyards. Some other countries where it's like pretty cramped living
Mm,
probably wouldn't have been very nice, isolating for however long it's been,
yeah.
when you're like cramped up in a little apartment or
Yeah.
whatever it might be.
Mm,
Yeah, but it's definitely interesting, man. Very interesting period, and it's been interesting to see how it affects all the different people and how everyone's adjusting.
yep.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting.
So yeah, like what happened to you in January? Because we were in contact, but you had some pretty funny experiences too, didn't you? Like
Yeah, it
in
was it
January
was
leading
pretty
up to
funny.
it.
Well, I was in Australia. I'd been in Australia for 6 months working, and I had planned come mid-March. I was going to Thailand to start, I guess, a like a meditation expedition or something, was what I had planned in my mind. I was going to go to Koh Samui. There's a really good meditation center in Koh Samui. It's like a Buddhist monastery, basically. And they run, 9-day silent meditation courses. So yeah, my plan was originally to go there, do that course, meet up with my friend who's also like really deep into Buddhism and meditation, and he's been a bit of a guide and mentor for me down this whole sort of exploration. Meet him. He's also a yoga teacher. I was going to assist him in the teacher training that he was running in Krabi, so another area of Thailand. And then, from there I had open plans to like head up north in Thailand and go to some of the monasteries where there's some pretty renowned teachers, and monks and meditation teachers. And a lot of the like Western meditation and Dharma teachers like Jack Cornfield and, these other really prominent teachers, they spent long periods in Thailand practicing with these teachers. Like some of them have passed away now because they're old.
Yeah.
But there's, Thailand is like a country that holds the Buddhist lineage. If you want to practice like Buddhism and Buddhist meditation, Buddhist practices, like Thailand is probably the best country to do that in.
Yeah.
And I also find it kind of interesting, like why I've been always drawn to Thailand. Like, from the first time I got here, like I had a plan like 6 years ago, I had plans to travel around the whole world. And like, I started in Thailand and I didn't leave. Like I started in Thailand and just all these things unfolded and I never left. I ended up just like living in Thailand for 6 years. So I've also been asking myself, like, why did that happen? Like, why am I always drawn to Thailand and to Thai culture and to Buddhism? So that's been something interesting I've been observing.
Yep.
But anyway, I went to Koh Samui just as the virus was unfolding. So on my plane there, it was empty. Like everyone on that plane was lying down across a row of seats. And I think I've got a photo of it, just like a whole empty plane. It's pretty funny. And yeah, anyway, I got to Koh Samui and I started this meditation course, which was the best meditation retreat I've ever done, just because of the teachers, the place, the whole energy was really good. There was a lot of people doing it. It was a really big course, like something like 80 people. I won't go into that much detail about the course because I could talk for a very long time. We'll leave that maybe for another chat. And then basically finish the course. This is a silent course. There's no phone, there's no outside contact with the outside world. Finish the course. And then the teachers said, okay, everyone, the virus situation has developed. Some flights are cancelled. Some countries are closing their borders, etc., etc. So a lot of people were like, oh shit, like there was a bit of panic and people checked their flights were cancelled. So basically everyone had to decide what they were doing. I went and just got like a hotel for the next 2 nights. And then for some reason, the center was running another course starting 2 days after the one that just finished. When most of the centers had closed all around Thailand, all around Asia, this one was still deciding to honor this course that they had planned. So I was like, okay, I'll just go do another course. Like I really enjoyed the first one. I got a lot out of it. So I just went straight back in and I did the second course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that one was a bit different because the teachers were different. It was a monk from England, like who'd been a monk for 30 years or something. He was the teacher for this course.
Yep.
So it was pretty different. And the whole energy was different because there was a lot more like uncertainty and panic in the air. And in this course, a lot of people left because there was this vibe of uncertainty, what's happening on the outside with the virus, this and that. So a lot of people left. It was only a small group of us that finished this course.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we finished and again, we had a look what's going on and the situation had even worsened even more where there were like borders were now closing. It was like urgent. So I had the choice to like urgently go back to Australia or I knew like, okay, I'm going to sort of be stuck in Thailand for a while.
Yep.
And I'm pretty comfortable in Thailand. Like I've lived here for many years. So yeah, I decided to just jump on a boat and I went over to Copenhagen, a smaller island, because Koh Samui had a few infections. I think there were like about 10 people infected
Yep.
with the virus on Koh Samui, you know?
Yep.
So
Yep.
people were talking about like, oh, you know, is it going to escalate in Koh Samui or whatever?
Mm.
And anyway, like that, I wasn't that fussed about that anyway, but I just prefer a smaller island, less developed, quieter, calmer. So I came over here to Copenhagen, and this is basically where I've been hauled up for the past like almost a month and a half. So it's been good. Like I'm glad I came here because there hasn't really been, you can't call it a lockdown. You're still allowed to go out anywhere you want. Initially there were some restaurants closed, but that's all changed now. The restaurants are open again. People are wearing masks. Like initially you had to wear a mask. It was funny. I made a post about this on Facebook. Like I was driving my motorbike and I went through a police checkpoint and I didn't have a helmet on. I didn't have anything like that. I didn't even have my wallet or license on me. And this cop was, you know, they stopped me and they're like, where's your mask? Where's your mask? Like really aggressive, you know, like getting in my face. And I was just like, oh, like, I'm pretty sure it's here somewhere. Like, and I get off my bike, open up the bike and I'm like, shit, okay. And I found it in my scooter and I put it on, you know, and this guy's just like, you wear your mask, you go somewhere, you wear your mask, you know, this cop. And I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, no problem. I was like, mai penai, like that's no problem in Thai.
Yeah.
And then I just drove off like giggling to myself because like there's no helmet, there's no license, but
He didn't
you
even
know,
have a
these
helmet
people
on.
are really adamant about like wearing a mask just while you ride the scooter. But I guess that's the whole like fear element that's happening, that's taking place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, that was kind of funny. But yeah, other than that, basically, I sort of settled in here. It did take me a little while. Like, I did feel a little bit lost and like, fuck, what's going on? Like, am I going to be stuck here? So there were definitely like some challenging periods. But then once I settled in and I found a good room and I really reflected on like, okay, what do I want from this period? What do I want to do? What do I want to get out of it?
Yeah.
And then I decided that, or, you know, just from looking around at what other people are experiencing, it was obvious that, okay, there's no escape from this. No, everyone's locked up. No one can do anything. So I was sort of like, okay, this is a good opportunity to like, to rest, to let go of the need to be moving forward and achieving something, and recalibrate. I think I said that in our last talk as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still stick to routine. For me, like routine is one of the most important things. And, you know, I always feel whenever I stray or, you know, move away from routine, I do lose a bit of my centeredness and my focus. And it doesn't mean that you need an extreme routine. You know, like you hear about people like wake up 4 a.m., 1 hour meditation, 2 hour yoga practice, then like, you know, your green smoothie, you cook all this stuff. Yeah, that's cool. But, you know, routine can also be something easy and gentle. You know, it could just be waking up at 8 a.m., just getting that, waking up at the same time every morning, starting to go to sleep at the same time every morning. You know, having your meals sort of set out throughout the day the way that you like it, the way that serves you the best. Having like, you know, 1 or 2 small projects that you're working on. So for me at the moment, that's learning Thai. So I learn Thai a couple of days a week. And then, you know, on the days in between, I have a workbook. So I study, I do a bit of homework.
Yep.
You know, I made like 5 days of meditation. You know, I recorded some videos, some guided meditations, which again was like a fun little project for me. I'm also like giving myself permission to just, you know, watch Netflix. I started watching Breaking Bad again.
Yeah.
I never like got through that series of Breaking Bad. So yeah, I'm watching that again, an episode a day. So yeah, you know, that's been my approach, and I feel pretty comfortable at the moment. Like the isolation or the lockdown, to be honest, it's not that different to how I normally live. Like I don't socialize that much. I don't
Yep.
like socializing in big groups.
Yep.
I spend a lot of time by myself or
Yep.
at home.
Yep.
I don't drink. You know, I'm already up pretty early. You know, I usually meditate and practice yoga anyway. So for me, it hasn't been that different.
Yep.
But the challenge has been like, okay, everything that you had planned,
Yep.
you got to forget about for now
Mm.
and leave it.
Yep.
And, you know, just allow this period to unfold the way it will.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Before I just make a comment on what you were saying, oh, there you are. We got you back. They're just I
Yeah.
think your video's frozen. You might be back on that Wi-Fi thing again.
Ah, okay. No, my Wi-Fi's off.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, what I was going to say is, yeah, when you said
Am I still frozen?
about, yeah, your video is really, it's actually like choppy. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, quickly, I guess before we wrap it up, what you were saying about like what you do in the morning, like your ritual is, yeah, like instead of like people tend to kind of go and really go hard and add like 20 things to their daily ritual when, and I did that as well. Like I've had to actually, I've had to like just recently, like I've had to redesign and just like commit to only a few things rather than actually try and, you know, bite the whole cake. I've had to take a slice out of it and go, right, you know, in the morning, I'm going to meditate and then, you know, do my chanting and just sit there for, you know, a specific period of time and also just go to bed consistently. And that's it. Like, you know, I wanted to add all this other thing in like exercise and everything else. But, you know, I think for people that aren't accustomed to rituals and that haven't been doing it for like, you know, decades and decades, that not really conditioned to that, just taking small bite-size you know, rituals and just add one on each time. So master the one, then master two, then master three, and build up it's like what 21 days you form a habit, right? I think it's more than that now, like 30 days or something. But yeah, I find that is really effective and really kind of puts less pressure on. And you can have wins rather than win the whole race. You can win like a stage of the race at each time. So
I like that, man.
Yeah,
I think as well, also if you're trying to do too many, then you know it becomes a little bit of a chore.
Yeah,
you know, you need like how much time do you need to get it done? Whereas if you're just like focusing on one or two things, but really starting to like, you know, make that a habit, then it's going to be better than, you know, throwing 10 things in there.
Yeah.
And doing it only for like, you know, 2 or 3 days and then giving up.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Like when I started out doing these rituals last year, it was literally like, actually it wasn't even 10 minutes. It was, I think 5 minutes. I do 5 things in 5 minutes. And that was a lot at the time. That was like a real big ask, you know, but as I started doing them progressively, I just added in like 20 minutes of meditation and now it's up to like 1.5 hours every morning, you know? So
I feel like at the moment as well, like it's such a good time to sort of build that habit because, you know, most people aren't working. And like time at the moment, like we've all got so much time. So it really is like, you know, really good, perfect time to just start building that habit because when you're at work, like, you know, it's a big ask to start from scratch and like get up, you know, before work for your routine. Like I feel like a lot of people have a hard time doing that. You know, waking up like an hour earlier. You know, or even if it's just like 20, 30 minutes earlier, like, you know, people find that difficult. So at the moment, you know, we're not working. It's such a good time to like build some of these habits.
Yeah, especially like if you're, I think for like the people who haven't really done this before, who haven't really like who haven't built in like conscious habits like what we're talking about into their daily
Yeah,
practice. Like um, it's quite a foreign thing, but for people that actually already know about it and that do maybe one or two things, like when you start to see the actual benefits of what it actually can do in your life, like set you up for the day, like
yeah,
the amount of clarity you get just from meditation in the morning or in the evening. Like for me, it took those 20 days of doing it. Like when you see the
yeah,
benefits of it, it's almost like you can't go without it because you feel really
yeah.
out of alignment if you don't do it. Like
Definitely, man.
I've gone a day, even day or 2 days without doing a meditation. And I'm like,
Yeah,
man, I need to do it. Like it's like I get withdrawal symptoms of not
yeah,
doing my rituals, you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I'm the same. Like if I want, sometimes, if I feel like, oh, I'll treat myself today, and I'll wake up and I'll go down to the coffee shop
Mm,
and I'll enjoy a coffee and I'll check out some I'll just enjoy a slow morning. I'll watch some YouTube videos. What pops up on my YouTube feed. Because I follow like some channels about like Dharma,
yeah.
Buddhist teachings and meditations. And then, on the other side of the coin, I follow channels about like cryptocurrency as well. So like, and these are obviously people that I like, I enjoy watching their videos. That's why I follow them.
Yeah.
So, it might be, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to treat myself. I've developed this habit quite well. Um, I'm going to take a break today and, have this coffee and I watch a few things and I can feel the difference on those days.
Mm,
Like I'm definitely not as focused, not as centered. I don't feel really clear. Um, and, it's the same if I don't do a yoga practice. Like,
yeah.
for me, just even doing a really short yoga practice,
Mm,
it's sort of a must do now.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be long. Like it
Yeah.
could just be 15 minutes. But, if I don't do that, I can feel the tension in my shoulders,
Mm, yeah.
in my back, because I'm just so accustomed to releasing all of that when I start the day.
Yep. Yep.
All that tightness that accumulates when you're sleeping.
Mm,
Your muscles shortening, everything sort of becoming a little bit tighter, and then you
yeah.
wake up. My routine is releasing all of that as one of the first things, and just getting your body moving, allowing your energy to start flowing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, when I take a day off, like I said, to give myself a break, or when I'm feeling lazy, I definitely feel a difference.
Yeah. You definitely feel the difference. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And you start to like, it's not a serious thing, but I think when you get to a stage, you hit like a certain level or a certain part, like point in your journey where rituals are actually a really serious business. Like
mm,
it's like breathing air. It's like you need to eat food, or you don't need to. There's other things you can do, but it's like one of those necessities where if you don't do it, you're almost like um, it has a negative effect. Yeah.
yeah,
For me, like it's now starting to become really serious. Like I actually, um, like I don't beat up on myself, but I see that it has to be done. Like there's
yeah,
no negotiation for it. It's like, all right, fine, you missed one of those.
yeah,
Must. It's like a must. So
yeah. I
yeah.
think it comes back to that. We're talking about that self care.
Yep.
Um, you know,
Absolutely.
if you really want the best of yourself and the best for yourself,
Yep.
like these type of things, yeah, they're important.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Like, I'm glad we have these conversations because it kind of allows me like to reinforce that even more, like I'm nowhere near like perfect in my rituals. Like I'm
yeah,
still in like ingraining those neuro pathways to just like in
yeah,
my brain to like um, consistently commit and to be
yeah,
dedicated to that practice that I do because I know that it has benefits that like for every area of my life, financial, wealth, health, everything, right? Not just one thing,
yeah,
not just like, oh, I'm going to be, like peace and calm and love all day, like it affects my business dealings, it affects my
Yeah.
relationship and the way I interact with like everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah. And in the real world, like,
Yeah,
shit happens, and
yeah,
shit's always going to happen. So,
yeah,
um, looking after yourself, that self-care is just, one of the most important things you can do
mm,
to be like, you know, not overwhelmed in the real world,
mm,
and not have to just like take a back seat as well and be like, oh, the real world's too much. Like, I
yeah,
don't like the feeling of this agitation that arises from this, and I don't like
yeah,
the feeling of discomfort that arises from this. Maybe, for example, from, you know, posting video of myself online. Like, I don't like the feeling of doing that. So, I'll just stop altogether.
mm,
Those rituals, I think, are key to helping you see and understand that, yeah, this is an uncomfortable feeling, but this is really beneficial. So I'm going to work through, I'm going to work with that, as opposed to just pushing it away,
yeah,
and staying in, like, in a little bit of a bubble.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're spot on there, man. Self-love, like everything comes back down to self-love. I'm hearing it more. I'm learning about it more. Like it's really the key
Yeah.
at
Cool,
this,
man.
especially in this time. But anyway, yeah, look,
How are we for time?
we've done 50 minutes again.
Oh
So
my God.
we said we were going to keep it to 20. Look, I mean,
50 minutes again.
yeah, I think we'll get it down eventually. But
Dude, I honestly thought we'd been talking for like 20 minutes.
no,
Jesus.
man. I mean, I've been watching the time. I'm like, you know what? Just let it go. There's things that need to be
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And we might chop up this conversation into like 15-minute segments or whatever. So,
Yeah, I suppose that's
um,
possible as well.
but if you're watching this, have a laugh with us. We
Yeah.
we haven't really done this before, so yeah, it's a journey, and it's
Yeah,
cool.
and we don't plan any of this of what we're talking about.
We don't.
Um, we just like come out and just talk to each other.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and we're enjoying it. Like, I honestly am having fun. Like,
Yeah.
this.
Me too. So look, I don't actually know what we're going to talk about next conversation, but we'll have a chat off topic around this, or
Yeah,
off camera.
yeah,
But
no
it's going to
problem.
be around something that we're passionate about. Probably, I don't know. What do you think? Any ideas that you think
I'm
like
not
would
sure.
benefit everyone else to hear as well?
Um, I was gonna say we could talk about the virus, but I feel like there's probably enough shit out there on that already.
Yeah.
Let's have a think about it and see what we come up with.
I think what I'd like to maybe share is around like, I've been really like I've been following this coronavirus thing, not like as like I haven't been immersed in it, but
Yeah,
I've kind of kept up to date, and I wanted to formulate, my own beliefs around what's happening. I don't want to
yeah,
delve into it, but I think to give others also like just a perspective on how else it can be seen, like
yeah,
rather than get into the whole like debate and political debate. And
yeah,
there's so many different opinions, there's so many theories, there's so many conspiracies of what's right and what's wrong. Like,
yeah,
instead of getting caught in that,
yeah,
what's our perspective on it? Like we
yeah,
were talking about today, our like daily rituals, like it's forced us into a space of self-inquiry, right?
yeah,
Which is really what's going on, which actually isn't going to stop when it gets lifted. I think this in self-inquiry is actually going to be a thing that's going to happen for
yeah,
years after this, right?
yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah.
so
This
yeah,
what's happening now is obviously going to impact. There's going to be a huge impact on, how things move forward, like how the world develops. Like, it's a real like point in history right now.
yep,
Um, so yeah, I think, okay, that could be a good topic, man. Maybe we'll
yep.
do that.
We'll fill it out, see where it goes. Cool.